Welcome to the Beast of Bourbon podcast with your hosts, Jeff,
Joe,
Mark,
and Riley.
Each episode, we will discuss topics related to bourbon,
as well as anything else that pops into our head.
Because after all, we don't know jack.
On a more serious note, if you have a friend or loved one who has a drinking problem,
please know there are resources available to help you.
Always drink responsibly.
Yeah, I think I had never had Evan Williams. It was okay. I think that they really, the interesting thing too was when they started talking about bottled and bond, and back in, especially during Prohibition, when they were trying to manufacture whiskey quickly and didn't want to have it spend the time in the barrels aging, they used anything they could find that would turn liquid brown, including rusty nails, tobacco spit.
I think you can end the list from there. I think everyone gets the idea.
Yeah, I'll get the idea.
Yeah,
your imagination.
I would think that wouldn't make your bourbon taste particularly spectacular.
And so, what did you learn, Joe, about what is barreled in bond?
Bottled in bond?
Yeah, that too. Again, I'm not a good student. It wasn't a good student.
Good thing there isn't a quiz. That was when they brought federal government in to actually be in the distilleries and make sure that there was integrity in the aging process. So it's, you'll still hear bottled in bond now, but it's more of a phrase more than something that's required by the government now. So
yeah,
no rusty nails in our bourbon.
Exactly. And then we ended the day at Angel's Envy.
Yeah, that was cool too.
We got to taste the mash in that one, which was, if you've not seen it, it looks like oatmeal. Has a little bit of the consistency of oatmeal, but doesn't really taste like oatmeal. We got to at least smell the white lightning. You remember that?
That kind of curled my eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah, they had some that was coming straight out of the still, and we all got to pour it in our hands, rub our hands, and smell it. And you can use it for hand sanitizer. If I remember, our tour guide said that she enjoyed the white lightning as much as the bourbon.
A true native daughter of Kentucky.
Yeah, that white lightning's like 150 proof, I think, or something crazy like that.
I think they bottle feed that to kids when they're young there in Kentucky. Pretty sure
they could.
I think I heard that.
It's possible.
There's,
they had I really enjoyed the bar area. Actually, two things. I am, going in, I've had Angel Envy before, and it was okay when I had it. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. We did the tour and then having the samples there, and I really did enjoy it. And then subsequently bought another bottle and enjoyed it. And then have bought, of course, I'll have to look up what I bought. I've got another one of theirs that I bought recently that's I enjoy.
Yeah. And that was another. I mean, it was a modern facility, right? They had just built it not too long ago.
Yeah. They're a newer distillery.
Yeah.
A newer label.
The tasting room was terrific. Which also, the tasting room at Old Forester was also. I'm not sure if I liked one more than the other.
They were very similar. The one thing I don't remember about Old Forester, and maybe it's because it was 11 o'clock in the morning, so it wasn't on our radar, but they had that bar area that we went into after the tasting room at Angel Envy. And I don't remember if there was something like that at Old Forester, but that was a really nice little area.
Yeah, I remember we met that night. We sat with that nice couple. I forgot where they were from.
I think they're from Alabama.
I think they were from Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was great. They were, I think, in the automotive industry or something. They were great to talk to.
Yeah, they were. That was enjoyable. So we were there. We had to be there.
We hung out for a while.
And I think it was a good break. Interjecting new voices was a good break for the three of us. So
you think we get sick of each other?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, Riley, that's another one to put on your list. The Angels Envy tour.
Yeah,
we're building out a trip for you.
Please give me a full itinerary because I've got to go do this someday. And I'm getting to the age where a lot of my friends are finally coming around to bourbon, so it's the timing is perfect.
So Riley, are you trashing your friends and saying that you had a more leading edge palate than your friends?
I always have, and I've tried to be humble about it for as long as possible, but it's hard. It's getting harder by the year.
That's why you fit in with us. We're all pretty humble people.
I'm not.
No, you're honest.
So that concluded Friday. Was Friday night the Tyson Paul fight, or was that Saturday night?
I think that was Saturday.
Okay. Anyway, so that concluded Friday. I don't remember where we went for dinner Friday night. I know we went to that hamburger place Thursday night, I believe.
That was Thursday. Friday.
The fancy place.
No, I think
That
that was
was
Saturday because we picked up the rental car on Saturday. So Saturday was our non distillery tour day. So yeah, we picked up the rental car, did our visit to Churchill Downs. So which was Jeff has his.
official mint julep glass.
It just proves that I was there.
I've still got my ticket. So that was
I have my ticket too.
I really enjoyed that. Obviously it's Churchill Downs. It's an iconic sporting arena and one of the Triple Crown coming up in a few weeks. I can say I've been to 2 of the 3 tracks that hold the Triple Crown. I actually went to the Preakness when I lived in Baltimore at Pimlico. So
Nice.
not made it to Belmont.
Joe, I haven't gone to both of them. How could you contrast and compare the two?
I didn't see, we were in the infield at Pimlico. That was all we could afford, and they probably wouldn't have let us anywhere else because this was right after we graduated. It was really obviously 2 different scenarios, going to one of the actual races versus just a regular day. Going to the Preakness, it was really a lot of fun. Being in the infield, you really didn't see much of the race because it's just so packed with people. If you got to one of the fences and looking out to the track, you'd see 20 yards of the race. But it was just it's just an event. We went to the event and have a beer or two. And, going and seeing Churchill Downs from how we saw it, I really enjoyed it. No, I was of the non-bourbon tours we did, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
And I won some money.
Yes, you did. That's right.
That's really why it was your favorite. Let's call it as it is.
What was it? An exacta that you did or something?
Yeah, it was about $80 or something, so $90 on exacta. All I was doing is I looked at what the experts were saying. I was boxing some of those horses, and it wasn't my racing predicting skills by any stretch of the imagination.
One of you pointed out that there was actually a tip sheet inside the program.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This seemed
that was me after I won, and you guys, how did you know to pick those? And I'm like, these tip experts said to pick these. Like, well, why didn't you share that 3 races ago?
I won $3 on a horse that showed.
Nice.
That doesn't quite balance off how much ever money I put into these races, but I can still say I had a $3 winner. The horse's name was Ain't No Disco.
There we go.
I don't remember my horses.
Had to go for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some good activities. I enjoyed. Also, I agree with you. Being at Churchill Downs was very cool. Definitely, they check it off the box. But they had some cool stuff going on in Louisville. I was really pleasantly surprised.
I had my first mint julep.
That's right.
Jeff, do you have a glass from Churchill Downs, possibly?
Funny you should mention that I have a glass from Churchill Downs that my mint julep came into. Thank you. Came in.
Was served in.
Thank you.
Again, not very bright. So thank you.
I'm here to help. I was
it.
impressed by how big the actual facility was.
Yes. And it's beautiful grounds, absolutely beautiful grounds. Even, we were there in November. So obviously that's towards the end of the growing season, but just so well maintained. We had a really nice day for it too. So,
that was probably the best weather we had that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. What'd you guys think of the Ali Center?
That was very interesting.
Yeah, that was
history. That was like
that was exactly what I thought. You're seeing sports history. We grew up in that era. You either loved Ali or you hated him. And forget what he accomplished in the ring. The things he did outside the ring are more important.
Yeah, you always think about Ali the athlete, but the humanitarian. And his leadership, pretty impressive stuff.
In his prime, when he wouldn't, his draft number got called up to go to Vietnam and he refused. And they said his boxing license was suspended for 2 or 3 years. And he fought in court and won to get reinstated and really missed 3 prime years of his career.
I thought it was an interesting contrast because that night before, Jeff, that was the Tyson-Paul fight, which was less than memorable.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. Yeah. That's what it was. It was entertaining. And then the next morning we go to the Ali Museum and we see all his iconic fights with Joe Frazier and George Foreman and his Olympic gold medal and all that. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting one end of the spectrum versus the other as far as professional boxing goes.
Yeah. So in between that, we hit the Louisville Slugger Museum too. So we did Churchill Downs Saturday, Louisville Slugger Museum Saturday, and then the Alley Museum Sunday morning. The Louisville Slugger Museum is really cool to go to if you like baseball. I think my favorite part of it was they were doing the auction, the memorabilia auction in one of the rooms. And so we got to see some really cool baseball memorabilia. And some of that stuff was selling for
some top dollar.
More than we wanted to invest. I think
more than what I won at Churchill Downs.
Probably more than we could have invested, Jeff.
Yeah.
A lot of it was Ted Williams and Red Sox stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
I believe this was part of Ted's collection that his estate was putting out the auction finally. I mean, Joe, I know that Churchill Downs did it for you, but I nerded out in the Louisville Slugger Museum. I just thought it was, I don't know. I like baseball a lot. It's very different than all the other sports, and I understand that. It's slower pace, more methodical than all that. But I mean, you walk into the place, it smells like wood shop.
Yeah.
Maybe because they actually make the bats there.
Yeah, they don't make those aluminum bats there.
It is wood shop.
It is wood shop. Again, like the Evan Williams tour, we got to see a little bit of a video beforehand too about the history of the bats and the harvesting, what would they use specifically, the specific growth wood that they use, and the whole process that they take and turn these long barrels of wood down to bats. And you got to see the whole process from the milling all the way down to the finishing. And I just found that so interesting.
Yeah, I wondered recently about this whole, the Yankees are using torpedo bats, and I was sort of wondering, well, does that like when the folks at the Louisville Slugger are making those bats, is it done in private because you don't want other people to see? Like, how does that work? But probably not the biggest priority in their manufacturing.
What I had seen, Jeff, is actually that's like a small niche manufacturing that did them. And it was just word of mouth at how they got through the league. And the Yankees do a lot of them during spring training. A bunch of these guys kind of like the results. I don't know what percentage of Major League bats are torpedo bats, but it was interesting that back in the day, the only baseball bats were made down in Louisville.
Yeah.
Was are the torpedo bats made by Louisville Slugger? I don't know if I've heard who made them. Okay.
No, it was a much smaller niche manufacturer.
As one of the things I do remember is they talked about different players that would actually, a lot of different players come to the factory for their bats to be made. So, and then we got to see some iconic bats too.
And hold them. Yeah, that was really cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was good stuff.
You can get your own personalized bat made there if you'd like, and they'll ship it to you. As I can imagine, they frown on that when you try to get on the plane carrying a bat over your shoulder.
Well, it was interesting. So as part of the tour, as you walk out, they had this huge bin of mini souvenir bats, and you could have one. So yeah, we took all ours, but I'm like, all right, I really can't carry this outside of my suitcase. That will definitely get frowned on by TSA.
Yeah.
So I tucked mine in my suitcase, and the boys didn't want theirs either. So I wound up with 3 of the mini bats. I brought one in and gave it to Mitch. And I have one here and I have one in the office because you never know when a little mini baseball game is going to break out.
Or, if you and Mitch get into a fight,
I want
both have bats to use.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't want to bring a knife to a baseball bat fight.
Well, there may be some time you tell him to put his hands on the desk.
That's right.